Yo, what's going on guys? It's Harry from Whipped Cream Sounds again. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over a 53 Thieves style chord that I made a while back and it's part of my lo-fi pack, which you can go buy in the description below. And I thought, why not share with you guys this patch because it sounds amazing. Ooh, that is beautiful, man. This is going to be a Serum tutorial. I did make this in Serum. It's called Keys Thief because 53 Thieves. And like I said, it's part of the purple slush lo-fi pack, which comes with something like 21 or 18 total presets. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 21. 21! I was first time. Right, first time. So let's start off with the oscillators as usual. And for the sub oscillator, we have a saw wave because we wanted that crunchy sound coming through, nice and digital and, oh yeah, beautiful. We haven't really done anything to it. We've just left the levels similar and it sounds something like this. Whoa, need to turn that down, blooming hell. Then on top of that, we've got a noise oscillator and the organics cymbal loop. This is fantastic. I love this sound. Let's just have a listen to it on its own. And we've layered that with the saw wave. We haven't really done anything to it. No changing of the pitch, just popping the level down so there's not too much coming through and we're not overkilling the noise. It's just adding a nice layer of, like, you know, the thin jam between a Victoria sponge. Yeah, man. Right, now next we have a oscillator over here. It's oscillator A, of course. And on this one, we went on the analog and we chose, it's basically just analog BD sign to be totally honest with you. It's called sub-bass_1, but basically I put the wavetable position all the way to the right, so it's literally just a sine wave. So as you can see on the modulation here on LFO2, we've put this cool A Bit Crazy preset. You'll find it in the miscellaneous presets. It's called A Bit Crazy and it's a bit crazy. And we basically turned off the BPM and just kept it on anchor, put the rate to 1.4 hertz. Don't ask me why, it just sounded cool at the tempo we were at, which by the way is 97. Then all we did was drag that over to the fine tune over there and we went to the mod matrix over to the fine tune and chose LFO2 over here. I chose it as bipolar rather than just one way, so that the fine tune is going left to right rather than just one way and back up and down. Then we used this little slider here just to push up the D tune a little bit and voila, you have this nice kind of wobbly sound. Oh man, amazing. It's bringing that nice low end warmth. Then with everything layered together, like I said, we also did have some modulation on the level, but we actually turned that off for this particular patch. We just bypassed it. It was just for some LFO modulation, which sounded like this. That is really cool, and you can add that in different parts if you want, just to change the vibe up and maybe speed up the track or, you know, make it more interesting. But for this particular patch, I chose to turn it off and just keep it on the bypass. Now for the next one, we've got Oscillator B, and Oscillator B, as you can see, has the exact same thing with the fine tune on LFO2. We used the A Bit Crazy and we just chucked it on there. Went over to the matrix, fine tune over here, put it on double side. For the waveform, we used a guitar waveform. Now this is the guitar waveform that is included in the purple slush lo-fi pack. If you want to go grab that, it's available to buy down in the description, or you can get the free version, which is the purple slush 0, and you can grab 100 free samples in that, as well as a couple of the Serum presets that are involved in the pack, just so you can have a play and see if you want the actual thing. So this is a guitar waveform. I basically just dragged this in from the noises folder that you'll find in the purple slush lo-fi pack, and as you can see, it's a pretty strange waveform. It's kind of similar to this sub bass, but it's just a little bit more wonky and just adding a little bit more texture. Now for this, as you can see, we did add some unison. So we had 3 voices, we pulled the D tune back slightly, and it's just adding a bit of stereo width to the sound. Then as you can see, we've also changed the wavetable position and actually linked this to LFO1. So as you can see on LFO1, we just put this nice little ramp up, and all you do for that is grab that thing in the middle. It sets up like that as default, and then you just pull it over to the side and boom, you got a ramp. Anyway, so we got this ramp, we've applied that to the wavetable position to to go all the way up. So it's just scanning through the wavetables. As you can see, the wavetables scan through and then they go to a flat position. So it's just giving this wavetable a more natural sound every time it plays. For this, we turned off the BPM, we kept it on anchor and put it on envelope so it only triggers every single time a note triggers. And we put the rate on 14.2 hertz. No idea why, it sounded cool. It's just adding a little bit, not too much. It's not very loud either, it's adding a slight bit to the sound. So before we play this all together, we're going to pop the filter on. And for this particular patch, the saw wave was really harsh. And we don't want that harsh saw wave on a lo-fi sound. So I decided to filter just the saw wave. As you can see, we don't have A, B or noise sent through it. We just have the saw wave to remove those harsh high end. And as you can hear from listening to that, this oscillator B is very, very subtle. It's just adding a tiny bit to the sides. So for the filter settings, like I said, we only sent the sub oscillator through. We took the cutoff back to 238 hertz, popped the resonance up all the way to 73%. We're going crazy with resonance here because it sounded cool at this particular point. We didn't touch the pan, but we did put the drive up a little bit just to give an extra bit of warmth and an extra bit of loudness at the same time as distortion. If you turn the drive up, you get what I mean. It adds distortion, but it also adds loudness, and it's a really useful tool, but if you overuse it, it's horrible. Then we popped the fat up a little bit to 24%, and we took the mix back to 92% because I didn't want it on the entire sound. If I put the mix up to 100%, you'll hear why. Sounds cool, but it's just not like... It's just not as good as 92%, man. Fantastic. It's allowing that saw wave to come through a bit more. Cool, so we're done with the top section here. Let's move on to the envelopes. And for the envelopes, as you can see, it's very, very simple. All we've done on envelope 1 is put an attack of 32 milliseconds, the decay at 852 milliseconds, sustain at 0 decibels up all the way, and release at 185 milliseconds, just to add a little bit of a tail. So the first effect on here was hyper. And what hyper is doing is it's just adding some detune to it. We didn't really play with the mix, but the mix of the dimension is applied to this thing called room knock, and it just gives it a bit of extra kind of space. Sounds like it's in a room. Then on the hyper, we put a rate of 40%, the detune at 25%, and the unison to 4 voices, and the mix at 33%, because we've got some nice detune, we just don't want to overpower it. Just adding a really nice space to the sound. Then the next thing we popped on this was a compressor, and the compressor was basically just compressing the hell out of this. And it was trying to get this oscillator B to shine a little bit more. So for the compressor settings, we compressed it a lot. Like I said, we went minus 36 decibels, then we went a ratio of 8:1, attack of 134.1 milliseconds, and a release of 89.4. Okay, so I've just changed the gain to 24 decibels, just so you know, and don't have a different patch at the end of this. The reason for this change is because it's reducing the gain a lot, and I wanted to A/B and let you hear the difference that the compressor makes. Bringing everything closer. Makes it slightly louder. Just brings everything a little bit more squashed and nice together. And the next thing we had on this was an EQ, and the EQ here is literally being used for a, what's that again? A low pass. What this low pass is doing is it's just taking out some of the high ends, making it a little bit more lo-fi, because we've still got that saw wave coming through, and we put the mix back a tiny bit, but we kind of want to cut that off a little bit more just to trim it. So on the frequency, we went for 5.6 kilohertz. The Q, we went for 40%, and the gain, we went 0 decibels, and we basically just brought the frequency back so it's cutting off. Just making it more underwater. Now the next thing on this patch is the reverb, and for the reverb we did a few clever things with modulation to make it sound a little bit more detuned and cool. So for the size we went 32%, decay we went 5.7 seconds, low cut we popped up to 29%, high cut is at 43%, and we didn't change the spin or spin depth. For the mix we have it on 16%, and we have it assigned to a macro down here which pushes the reverb up a little bit more. Sounds awesome when we bring that up. Now when we bring that reverb up, you'll hear it starts to detune a bit, and it's this really cool effect that we've used with the size. Basically, we've put the A Bit Crazy preset on here on LFO2 onto the size. After we popped that on the size, we went over to the matrix to make sure that it was bipolar. Now as you can see, this is really small. We've just put a depth of 12 on it because we only want it to act a little bit. If I turn this all the way up, you'll start to hear some horrible things happen. Nasty. What's that? Nobody wants that. So what we're going to do is we're going to dial it back a little bit, and we really want it only about 2 to 4. And as you can hear, it's just adding a little bit of detune to it, a little bit of kind of like wobbly space. Now I've got a little bonus tip for you. You can actually go grab this preset and 100 other royalty-free sounds completely free over on the website in the free lo-fi pack Purple/0. It's got loads of wicked melodies that we worked on for ages, and also a ton of cool drum sounds, and yeah, it's just cool, man. If you want to go grab that, that is in the description below. We've also got some awesome new products over on the website. Waves Mastering Source, we got a new piano poster, and you can help support the channel by buying any one of those, or if not, you can help support the channel by hitting the like button or the subscribe button. Let me know what you want to see in future videos in the comments below, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching and staying with this channel. It's fantastic. I love you all. Bye. But I was gone, did ya? You're staying with me, pal. You ain't leaving this channel, ever. I'll make sure of it.